My dear students, today I am going to explain periodic properties for crash course students. What are the periodic properties? When the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number, elements with similar properties reoccur at regular intervals of atomic numbers in the periodic table. This repetition of properties is called periodicity, and such properties are called periodic properties. When the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number, elements with similar properties reoccur at regular intervals of atomic numbers in the periodic table. This repetition of properties is called periodicity, and such properties are called periodic properties. For example, if we take first A group elements, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These are first A group elements. Their atomic numbers are 1, 3, 11, 19, 37, 55, 87. These are the atomic numbers of first A group elements. Here atomic number difference is like this: 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. So between these intervals, properties will repeat. These periodic properties will repeat. In that periodic properties, first one is atomic radius. Atomic radius means this is electron clouds. Electron cloud is distributed infinite distance from the nucleus. So atomic radius can be defined as the distance between the center of the nucleus and the electron cloud of valency orbit is called atomic radius. The distance between the center of the nucleus and electron cloud of valency orbit is called atomic radius. This atomic radius is expressed in angstroms, nanometers or picometers. This atomic radius is several types. First one is metallic radius. First one is metallic radius. It is also called crystal radius. Metallic radius or crystal radius. Metallic radius means, so if you take one metallic crystal, it contains so many atoms. This distance is nothing but internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms, or we can take this distance also. This is also internuclear distance. This is internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms. Half of this distance is metallic radius. So this can be defined as half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent metal atoms in a crystal lattice is called metallic radius. Half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent metal atoms in a crystal lattice is called metallic radius. If we take sodium crystal lattice, in that sodium crystal lattice, internuclear distance between two sodium atoms is 372 picometers. Then metallic radius is half of this, that is 186 picometers. Metallic radius of sodium is 186 picometers. This metallic radius is used for metals. Next, the second one, covalent radius. Covalent radius. If we take one chlorine molecule, this is Cl2 molecule. These are chlorine atoms. This is Cl2 molecule. This is the internuclear distance. Half of this distance is called covalent radius of chlorine. half of the internuclear distance between two covalently bonded atoms. Here between two chlorines covalent bond is present. Between two chlorine atoms covalent bond is present. Half of this distance is called covalent radius. Half of the internuclear distance between two covalently bonded atoms is called covalent radius. In Cl2 molecule, this internuclear distance is 198 picometers. This internuclear distance is 198 picometers. Then covalent radius is half of this, that is 198 by 2, 99 picometers. This covalent radius is used for non-metals. Metallic radius or crystal radius is used for metals. Covalent radius is used for non-metals. Next, third one, van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius. Between neutral molecules, there is a van der Waals force of attractions between the neutral molecules. If we take one Cl2 molecule, this is one Cl2 molecule, this is another Cl2 molecule, this is another Cl2 molecule, this is one Cl2, this is another Cl2 molecule. Between these molecules, there are weak intermolecular forces. Those are called van der Waals forces. Half of this distance is called van der Waals radius. Half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms of different molecules. This is one Cl2 molecule, this is another Cl2 molecule. Half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms of different molecules which are held together by van der Waals forces in the solid state is called van der Waals radius. Half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms of different molecules which are held together by van der Waals forces in the solid state is called van der Waals radius. Here this internuclear distance is 360 picometers. Then van der Waals radius is half of this, that is 180 picometers. This van der Waals radius is used for molecules and for inert gases in their solid state only. This is important point. This van der Waals radius is used for molecules and inert gases in their solid state only. This van der Waals radius is greater than metallic radius and covalent radius. So various order of various atomic radii is van der Waals radius is greater than metallic radius is greater than covalent radius. This van der Waals radius is used for the molecules and inert gases in their solid state. Metallic radius is used for metals. Covalent radius is used for non-metals. Next, ionic radius. Ionic radius means distance between the center of the nucleus and electron cloud of valence orbit of ion is called ionic radius. The distance between the center of the nucleus and electron cloud of valence orbit of ion is called ionic radius. If you take neutral atom M and its cation M plus, this m is always greater than m plus. M is always greater than m plus. Parent atom is always larger than its cation. As the positive charge on the cation increases, its size further decreases. So m plus is greater than m plus 2. M plus 2 is greater than m plus 3. So on. As the positive charge increases, then its size decreases because effective nuclear charge increases. Similarly, if we take anion, X, its anion is X minus. Anion is always larger than its parent atom. Anion is always larger than its parent atom. So X is less than X minus. As the negative charge on the anion increases, its size further increases. As the negative charge increases, its size increases. Next, isoelectronic species. Isoelectronic species. The species having same number of electrons are called isoelectronic species. If we take Na plus and Mg plus 2, both have same number of electrons. So these two are isoelectronics. Na plus and Mg plus 2 both have same number of electrons. Na plus has 10 electrons, Mg plus 2 also has 10 electrons. They have different number of protons, but number of electrons same only. These two are isoelectronics. So if we take C minus 4, N minus 3, O minus 2, F minus, Ne, Na plus, Mg plus 2, Al plus 3, etc. All these are isoelectronics. All these species contain same number of electrons, 10 electrons only. If we take C minus 4, neutral atom carbon has 6 protons and 6 electrons. Neutral atom of carbon contains 6 protons and 6 electrons. But C minus 4, if carbon gains 4 electrons, then C minus 4 is formed. Then C minus 4 contains 10 electrons. Like that N minus 3 also. All these species contain 10 electrons. This is isoelectronic series. Isoelectronic series means a series of ions having same number of electrons. It is called isoelectronic series. In that isoelectronic series, ion having highest negative charge is the largest one. In isoelectronic series, ion having largest negative charge is the largest one. Ion having highest positive charge is the smallest one. Next, variation of atomic radius. Variation of atomic radius means how that atomic radius changes in the periods and groups. See, first in periods. In periods from left to right, as the atomic number increases, atomic radius decreases. In the periods from left to right, as the atomic number increases, atomic radius decreases. If we take S and P block elements, first and secondary group elements belongs to S block, third A to 0 belongs to P block. Except this 0 group, remaining S and P block elements are called representative elements. In periods left to right, as atomic number increases, atomic radius decreases. Atomic radius decreases up to 7th A group elements. From 7th A to 0, atomic radius suddenly increases. From 1st A to 7th A, atomic radius decreases. but thereafter suddenly increase. If we take lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, from lithium to fluorine atomic radius decrease, but thereafter suddenly increase because for zero group elements van der Waals radius is considered. So in case of representative elements, in every period, largest atom is alkali metal, smallest atom is halogen. In every period, largest atom is alkali metal, smallest atom is halogen. If we consider zero group elements also, then this is larger than even this alkali metal. If we consider zero group elements also, that zero group element is larger than even alkali metal also. In groups, in periods left to right, atomic radius decreases because in periods as atomic number increases, differentiating electron enters into the same orbit, but at the same time nuclear charge increases. Nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons increases. That's why atomic radius decreases. Next, in groups. In groups, atomic radius increases. Why it increases means in groups as we move from top to bottom, number of orbits increases. Number of orbits increases. Hydrogen, lithium, sodium. Hydrogen contains only one orbit, but lithium contains two orbits, 1s2, 2s1. If we take sodium, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1, number of orbits increases. As we move from top to bottom, number of orbits increases. That's why in groups atomic radius increases. Next one, variation of atomic radius in transition elements. Variation of atomic radius in transition elements. Except second B group, remaining D block elements are called transition elements. Except second B group. In transition elements, atomic radius decreases, but the decrease is very less. In case of representative elements, left to right, atomic radius decreases. The decrease is more, but in case of transition elements, atomic radius decreases, but the decrease is very less. That is because shielding effects. Because shielding effect of n-1d orbitals. Due to shielding effect of n-1d orbitals, decrease in atomic radius is less. Next, in case of inner transition elements, in inner transition elements, in inner transition elements, atomic radius decreases, but the decrease is more only. When compared to transition elements, in case of inner transition elements, decrease in atomic radius is large. That is due to poor shielding effect of f orbitals. Due to their shape, due to their peculiar shape, f orbitals cause poor shielding effect. Due to poor shielding effect, atomic radius gradually decreases. That is called lanthanide contraction. Lanthanide contraction. The gradual decrease in atomic and ionic size in case of lanthanides is called lanthanide contraction. Even actinide contraction is also there. In case of actinides, atomic and ionic size gradually decreases. That is called actinide contraction. Next, second periodic property is ionization potential. ionization potential or ionization energy. Ionization potential or ionization energy. Ionization potential means the amount of energy required to remove the electron from the valency orbit of neutral isolated gaseous atom is called ionization potential or ionization energy. The amount of energy required to remove the electron from the valency orbit of neutral isolated gaseous atom is called ionization potential. I am taking M as a neutral atom, neutral gaseous atom plus ionization potential or ionization energy IE gives rise to, after removal of one electron, gaseous ion is formed, gaseous M plus ion plus that electron. This is endothermic process. Endothermic process. Endothermic process. Ionization process is endothermic process because energy is required to remove the electron. So ionization process is endothermic process. This is also called first ionization energy, IP1 or IE1. Next, energy required to remove the electron from the valence orbit of unipositive ion is called second ionization potential. M plus IP2 gives rise to M plus 2 is formed plus electron. This is also endothermic. The amount of energy required to remove the electron from the valence orbit of unipositive ion is called second ionization energy or second ionization potential. See here, IP1 is always less than IP2. IP2 is always less than IP3. IP3 is always less than IP4, so on. So because IP1 means energy required to remove the electron from the valence orbit of neutral atom, but IP1 means energy required to remove the electron from the valence orbit of unipositive ion. In case of this unipositive ion, effective nuclear charge will be more. Nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons will be more. That's why more amount of energy will be required. If we take M plus 2, still more amount of energy will be required because effective nuclear charge will be more. That's why IP1 is always less than, IP2 is always less than, IP3 is always less than, so on. It depends on IP depends on atomic size, nuclear charge. IP depends on atomic size, nuclear charge, shielding effects, penetration power of valence electrons, last one, electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. It depends on, IP depends on atomic size, nuclear charge, shielding effects, penetration power of valence electrons and electronic configuration. If we take that first factor, atomic size, first one is atomic size. As atomic size increases, nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons decreases. As atomic size increases, nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons decreases. Then IP decreases. So IP is inversely proportional to atomic size. Next one, nuclear charge. As nuclear charge increases, as the nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons increase, then more amount of energy will be required. So IP increases. So IP is directly proportional to nuclear charge. Next, third one, shielding effect. Shielding effect means in case of higher atomic number elements, valence electrons will be repelled by the inner electrons. In case of higher atomic number elements, valence electron will be repelled by electrons present in the inner orbits. That is called shielding effect or screening effect. If more number of electrons are there in the inner orbits, then shielding effect will be more. Shielding effect more means nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons will be nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons will be less. Then IP will be less. If number of electrons in the inner orbits are less, then shielding effect will be less. Then this attraction will be more. This attraction more means more amount of energy will be required. So IP will be more. So IP is inversely proportional to IP is directly proportional to shielding effect. Shielding effect more means IP will be less. Shielding effect less means IP will be more. Next, the fourth factor, penetration power of valence electrons. Penetration power of valence electrons. For a given orbit, electrons present in these orbitals will penetrate towards the nucleus. That penetrating power of various orbitals is S greater than, P greater than, D greater than F. Penetrating power of various orbitals or various electrons is S greater than, P greater than, D greater than F. Penetrating power more means more amount of energy will be required to remove the electron, then IP will be more. So here IP also follows in the same order. This is the penetrating power of various orbitals, then IP also follows same order. Next, last factor is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. The elements having half-filled and completely filled orbitals are more stable. Then more amount of energy will be required to remove the electron from such elements. For example, P3 configuration is more stable than P4 configuration. P3 means P subshell is completely filled. 1, 2, 3. P4, this is not completely filled. When compared to this configuration, this is more stable configuration. Then more amount of energy will be required. The elements having half-filled and completely filled orbitals are more stable. P3 greater than P4. Similarly, D5 greater than D6. F7 greater than F8. These are the factors affecting on ionization potential. Next, variation of IP. In periods and groups. See, first in periods. Variation of IP in periods. In periods, as we move from left to right, atomic radius decreases. As atomic radius decreases, nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons increases. Then IP increases and periods increases. If we take I am taking second period elements: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Left to right, IP increases. Lithium to beryllium increases. In general, it increases, but there are some exceptions. If you take beryllium to boron, IP decreases because beryllium has completely filled s orbitals. S2 configuration. For beryllium, S2 configuration is present. For boron, S2p1. If you take beryllium, for beryllium, electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2. Valence orbital electronic configuration is 2s2. But for boron, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Here valence electron is present in the p orbitals. In case of beryllium, valence electron is present in more penetrating s orbitals, but in case of boron, less penetrating p orbitals. And also it has a stable configuration. Beryllium has stable configuration compared to boron. That's why beryllium to boron IP decreases. Boron to carbon increases. Carbon to nitrogen increases. But nitrogen to oxygen decreases because nitrogen has half-filled orbitals. For nitrogen, P3 configuration, but for oxygen, P4 configuration. Already I explained P3 is more stable than P4. Oxygen to fluorine increases. Fluorine to neon increases. Not only in second period elements, if we take third period elements also. In general, left to right increases, but from magnesium to aluminium, it decreases. From phosphorus to sulfur, it decreases. Magnesium to aluminium and phosphorus to sulfur, it decreases. Remaining cases increases. So in periods left to right, IP increases. Next, in groups. In groups, IP decreases because in groups, top to bottom, as atomic number increases, atomic size increases. As atomic size increases, nucleus force of attraction on valence electrons decreases. So in groups, IP decreases. So in the periodic table, first A group elements have lowest IP value and zero group elements have highest IP value. So because left to right increases, top to bottom decreases. Left to right increases, top to bottom decreases. Left to right increase means zero group elements have highest IP value. Zero group elements have highest IP value. In that zero group elements, first element is helium. So top to bottom in groups decreases. So helium has highest IP value. In the periodic table, first A group elements have lowest IP value, zero group elements have highest IP value. In that zero group elements, helium has highest IP value. So in the periodic table, the element with highest IP value is helium. Suppose if we take helium and Li plus has more IP value. Element with highest IP value means helium. But this is not element, this is ion. If we take these two, Li plus has more IP value because both have same number of electrons. Helium and Li plus both have same number of electrons. But in case of helium, number of protons 2 only, 2 protons, but here 3 protons are there. Li plus contains 3 protons. So effective nuclear charge is more when compared to helium. In case of Li plus, effective nuclear charge is more. That's why its IP value will be more. If you take Li plus and Be plus 2, Be plus 2 has more IP value. When compared to Li plus also, Be plus 2 IP value is more. So as the positive charge increases, IP value increases. This is about IP.